Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. The hiatus director series continues. I think we're like 10 in or something at this point. I've lost track. I've recorded so many episodes this week. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the solo shows. Not that I don't miss my co-hosts, not that I don't miss my guests, but it is kind of nice just to ramble on like a fool and just talk about whatever I like. So I'm enjoying this, and I'm enjoying the idea of ranking. You know, I don't like to give scores to films. I've talked about this time and time again. Being an art form, it seems silly to give it an arbitrary score and say this is better than that. But I am enjoying revisiting these lists, because a lot of the films I'm talking about I haven't seen in a little bit, and it's whetting my appetite. It's making me want to go back and watch them all. And while I am on hiatus, I probably am watching a lot of these again and enjoying revisiting some old favourites. And then, ironically, probably my rankings are all wrong because I'll go back and want to change everything. I also know I ranked Superman quite low on my James Gunn list the other day when I recorded it. And I've just found out this Friday Superman is going to come to streaming. I've already pre-ordered my 4K Steelbook, of course. But I'm going to watch Superman again this week, so I probably could have ranked it a little bit higher. But that's okay. That's not a problem at all. Today, we are going to the world of international cinema. We've had some wonderful directors from America, some directors from the UK, I believe. No Australians yet. Maybe I'll need to look into the work of James Wan and Lee Winnell. And I'm writing their names down as we speak because I'm going to add them to my list also. And for those of you wondering where the women are at, I am going to focus on some women as well in terms of female directors, or just directors as we call them in the film biz. I just have just been kind of going with the ones that come to my head first, and I'm trying to focus on directors whose entire filmography I've seen. But today that changes. Today's director, we're going, as I said, to the world of international cinema. We're going to South Korea. I love South Korean cinema. I'm a big advocate of it, and I talk about it quite a bit on the podcast. And this director, I haven't seen all of their work, but I've seen maybe about half their filmography, and I'm a big fan of the work they've done, so I wanted to at least talk about them. And that is going to happen, you know. As film fans, there is a certain expectation, a certain level of gatekeeping that we must have seen everything in order to talk about it, but it's just not the case. Some of it's not accessible here. Some of it, especially in Australia, we do get kind of shafted when it comes to releases. We don't get access to everything. And I can only buy so many Blu-rays per week. So, it is what it is. I am visiting a very popular South Korean director, especially in the last couple of years, between 2019 and 2025. He's had two major releases that have taken the world by storm, and the world has been very, very excited about the prospects of what South Korea can bring to the landscape of cinema. I am, of course, talking about Mr. Bong Joon Ho, who you will know from 2019 as the Academy Award winner for his film Parasite. It didn't just win Best International Feature, it also won Best Picture. He also this year released a film called Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson, which Nick, Maddie and I talked about in quite a bit of depth on one of their first episodes as co-hosts. There are two other films of Bong Joon Ho's that I've seen, so this will probably be a shorter episode, probably around the 15-20 minute mark, because as I'm sure you've realised, when the lists are a bit shorter, I tend to talk less. When it comes to the work of Zack Snyder and Kevin Smith, I tend to talk for about an hour, so it's all going to be a bit all over the place. But that's okay. Bong Joon Ho has an incredible filmography. He's got plenty of stuff I haven't seen, and the biggest crime I'm going to commit today is not talking about one of his earliest films, Memories of Murder. It's not available in Australia. When I was in the UK, it was due for a re-release, but it didn't happen while I was there. And I haven't had a chance to order it in yet. So I really want to see Memories of Murder. It's quite a beloved classic South Korean film, and a lot of his fans point to that as one of his best. I just haven't been fortunate enough to have seen it yet. So when I do get a chance to watch it, I'll definitely talk about it either on the Instagram page or the podcast, or knowing me, both. But without further ado, we're going to talk about the work of Bong Joon Ho now, and I would encourage everyone who's listening, anyone who's interested in film at all, to give international cinema a chance. I talked about this with Adam Freed and Marcellus Cox when they came on to talk about their film Liquor Bank, and I talk about it quite a bit with people who are a little bit hesitant. International cinema is fantastic, Movies aren't different or worse just because they're not in your native language. In fact, a lot of the time they're better. We can learn so much from international cinema. It's not just more stories. Obviously, that's a big part of it. But it's different landscapes, it's different attitudes, it's different understanding and interpretation of the world. When it comes to, comedy, it's different things that make different people laugh. When it comes to horror, it's different things that scare people. There are so many wonderful flicks out there. And if you can just get over the subtitles of it all, you're going to have a great time. But I'm also not a gatekeeper. If you're not interested, if you don't feel like you can take the jump, I get it. It's not always the easiest step to take, especially if you don't feel comfortable reading while trying to watch a movie. But I would 100% recommend giving it a go. So with that out of the way, with my disclaimer come and gone, let's talk about the wonderful works of Bong Joon Ho. I'm just talking about 4 movies today, and they're all really good. In 4th place, because I've only seen it once, it goes to the bottom of the list. You know the rules by now. In 4th place is his most recent directorial effort. It is Mickey 17. Mickey 17 was a really fun film. I really enjoyed it quite a bit, but I've only seen it once, and I just think that some of his other work is a little bit better. Mickey 17 follows the story of Mickey, played by Robert Pattinson, doing a very interesting accent. He's very, very fun in the film. And he considers his life on Earth going nowhere, so he signs up to be an expendable. I think that's what they're called. And basically, the people of Earth, humans, are colonizing a different planet. And there's a program you can sign up for where basically you give the government or this company permission to clone you as much as they need to complete menial tasks. So if you're colonizing a planet and you're not sure if the air is breathable, you send Mickey down. And if Mickey dies, you've got his DNA on backup. You can clone him again and send out Mickey 2, and so on and so forth. So there's a really wonderful montage of Mickey dying in crazy, excruciating ways, in very silly ways. The film is quite bizarre, and like much of Bong Joon Ho's work, it is definitely a commentary on class. You'll see in some of his other films as well. In fact, in another 2 of his movies I'm going to talk about today, the idea of class and how people treat others from a different class level, and how that impacts the world. Mark Ruffalo plays a fantastic villain in this movie. He plays the rich entrepreneur who's leading this expedition, and he has all of the poor people who are clones or workers down in the bottom of his ship. When they get to this planet, they discover these creatures that live there, and Mark Ruffalo pretty much wants to exterminate them all, and Mickey comes up with a plan to try and protect the creatures of the planet and take down this monster who's running the ship. It has been a number of months since I've watched this film, and as you guys know, I watch a lot of movies, so that's about all I remember from the plot. But it's really fun. It's got a great sense of humor. It's very tongue-in-cheek. Robert Pattinson is excellent. He plays not just Mickey 17, but all the other Mickeys really well as well. Again, the perspective of taking someone who grew up in South Korea, and then applying it to an American film is always interesting. It's always fun seeing how these international sensibilities come in and approach, what we might consider American filmmaking. And you can see it doesn't quite feel like an American film. It looks and sounds like one, but the directors bring in their own sensibilities and ideas from their own culture, which makes it a little bit more interesting and different to your average American sci-fi film. So Mickey 17 is really good. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. I believe it's on streaming. It's definitely on DVD and Blu-ray as well. And for Robert Pattinson's performance and Mark Ruffalo's performance, but for those 2 performances alone, it is well worth your time. So Mickey 17 is a big old thumbs up. It's a lot of fun, and it's got a nice moral backbone as well. Diving into 3rd place, we're going with one of Bong Joon Ho's earliest films, and the reason why it's so low on the list is because, like Mickey 17, I've only seen it once. This has been widely considered one of the better monster films in the last 20 years, and this is a movie called The Host. The Host is basically an amphibious creature, kind of like Loch Ness Monster in a little bit of a way, who's living in a river in South Korea, and one day, tentacles start sprouting out of the water and just start picking up people, throwing them in the water, eating them, and chasing people around. My memory of this film, if I'm honest, is flimsy. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I love this film, it's my favorite, it's amazing. I don't remember it very well. I'm long overdue for a rewatch, but I remember really enjoying the creature effects, and I really enjoyed the story of the people trying to get away from the monster. But in a world where we weren't getting a lot of mainstream monster films, kind of kaiju films in America at the time, like this is 2006, I want to say, we weren't getting a lot of those. This was a breath of fresh air. Now, I didn't see this at the time. I watched this only in the last couple of years. But the reviews were kind of unanimous that it was nice to see someone in the world doing something with big monsters, particularly of the amphibious kind. We don't get a lot of cool amphibious monsters. Godzilla, I would hardly call amphibious. Like, yes, he comes out of the water, but he's a lizard, He's a reptile, he's not an amphibian. I wish I could say more about this wonderful film, but my memory is just failing me today. That might have something to do with recording 10 plus podcasts in a week. That might be why my brain's starting to fail. But it's a really fun action film, very quick. I think it's only about 90 to 100 minutes. Really fun story, and the creature effects are really cool as well, especially for 2006. And now we're in the upper half, and the next two films are films by Bong Joon Ho that I have watched a ton of times. I've watched these again and again and again. In fact, my number 2 is the first ever film I watched by this director, and I didn't expect much going in. I don't know why I wasn't expecting much. This is back in my snobbier days as well, remember? But by the end of it, I was on the edge of my seat. I was excited. I was thrilled. I was rampant. I just couldn't believe this film. I thought it was so impressive, so amazing. And it was really nice to see the lead actor do something a little bit different from what he was known doing. Not entirely different. Like, there's definitely elements of other characters, but it was a little bit grislier. It was a little bit more grounded. There was no super soldier serum. The film I'm talking about is Snowpiercer, which has also spawned a TV show, which I think has about 3 seasons. I've never watched the TV show. But the movie Snowpiercer is fantastic. It stars Chris Evans. And again, this is a film that talks a lot about class. The world has ended. It's frozen over. There's an ice age. And the last remaining humans on Earth are in this train that just orbits the globe again and again and again. And the way that the humans are divided, the way that we've organized the last remaining remnants of our species is those who are wealthy and have possessions live at the front of the train, and the poorer you are and the less you have, the further back in the train you get. And Chris Evans and a couple of his friends are at the very back. They're in the last carriage of the train. They only eat this gelatinous food, which is made up of well, it's a spoiler. I won't spoil it for you. But it doesn't look good. It looks pretty gross. And periodically, the soldiers on the train, the people who kind of serve the leader of the free world, will come down and torture and abuse the people in the back carriage. And there's a shocking sequence very early on where I think someone was accused of stealing. So they open a window of the train, they put the alleged thief's arms out the window and lock the window for a few minutes. When they bring his arms back in, they're frozen solid because it's so cold outside, and they smash his arms off. I want to say with a hammer. So it's pretty violent, this film. And at that point, Chris Evans and his friends decide that enough is enough, and they're going to take back their lives, and they're going to take back, this crazy class system and make it fair for everyone. And Chris Evans and his friends start working their way through the train, carriage by carriage, taking out whoever they need to, armed with axes and like little picks and stuff like that. And they fight their way from the back to the front. And there's an incredible sequence where they have to be silent, because the carriage is going through a tunnel and the lights are out, and so they have to be silent. They have to navigate so they can get their way through without being killed. It's an incredible action film. If you like The Raid, if you like Old Boy, if you like Bullet Train, if you like The Matrix to a certain extent, the fight scenes are incredible. And the film feels like it has very weighty stakes, even though Chris Evans, we know as Captain America, tends to be pretty untouchable. Like, he takes some hits and he loses some friends along the way. But the film itself is fascinating. And even if it didn't have an important message about the class system, which it does, it's just a great action film. And again, this is an American film directed by a South Korean director. And you can tell most American films don't feel like this. There's more going on. The way it's shot is visually more interesting. And then the climax, the end of the film, which I won't spoil, it is over 10 years old, but I'm not going to spoil it for you, is fantastic. It's a great ending. It's not an ending you would necessarily expect. And it's just a really fun flick that also happens to make you think a little bit as well. Snowpiercer, I highly recommend. It was almost my number one. It was so close to being my number one. But there is one movie that I do like a little bit better. So in first place on my Bong Joon Ho ranking list, and again, it's not the complete filmography. I've got some work to do there, and when I do watch the rest of them, I'll come back and give you an update. But in first place, I'm going with the film that won Best Picture. It was the first film in almost 20 years that I felt was truly deserving of the Best Picture award. And it is, of course, Parasite. Parasite is a fantastic film. Maddie just watched it recently. She talked about it on the podcast not too long ago. I talked about it with my friend Samantha when she first came on the podcast. This is a film that's touched a lot of people. This is a film that's introduced a lot of people to the idea of international film. And it's a very simple story with a lot of complex moving parts, which I know is a paradox. But the story is simple. There's a family who's very poor, they don't have a lot of money, and they wish their lot in life was better. And so slowly, over this period, this kind of the course of the first third of the film, they find this rich family and infiltrate it by taking up jobs and getting the other employees fired. So even though they are poor at home, they get paid really well working for this family, and they get to spend time in this family's house and get access to lovely food and all these wonderful different accoutrements that come with being wealthy. And you think that maybe, they're the parasite. They're the one entering into the household and taking it down. But then there's another layer, and I'm not going to spoil this, because even though the flick is almost 7 years old, I don't want to ruin it for you. But there is a twist in the third act that adds another layer to the meaning of Parasite. And not only is it destructive for the family who has infiltrated the house, but it also has consequences for the people who own the house. And the film ends on a shock. I was not expecting the ending. I always forget about the ending when I'm watching it, and it always breaks my heart. This is a powerful piece. It is funny. It is scary. It has action. Small bits of action. It's a great, almost espionage type of film. Even though there's no spies, there's a lot of sneaking around trying not to get caught due to the infiltrative nature of the film. It just does so much. It does so much for a film that's ultimately about a family who wishes their lot in life was better. If you have not seen Parasite, of all of these flicks, this is the one you want to check out first. It is in the Korean language. I will let you know. If you don't like listening to watching movies that have subtitles, then that's going to be a bit of a barrier for you. But this film is so good, it does not matter. It does not matter. Anyway, that is going to bring me to the end of my Bong Joon Ho list. We're just shy of 20 minutes, but by the time I'm done talking, we'll definitely cross the 20-minute mark. So if you're a Bong Joon Ho fan, definitely let me know what you think. Let me know what your ranking is. Tell me which one I should watch next, because obviously I have some large gaps that I need to fill in terms of what he's created. So let me know which ones I need to go to first. Reminding you before we jump out of the episode, my ranking: in fourth place, Mickey 17. In third place, The Host. Snowpiercer takes second place. And of course, my number one Bong Joon Ho film could only be Parasite. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Go ahead, jump online, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm sure there's others that I'm forgetting, right? Threads, I never use Threads, but the posts keep going on there, but no one really interacts. Threads is a bit of a dead end for me, honestly. But YouTube and TikTok, we're growing quite a bit as well. I think we must be getting close to Christmas by this point. I'm not quite sure. We might have passed Christmas. If it's almost Christmas, Merry Christmas. If Christmas is past, sorry I missed it. We'll figure it all out later. But thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the show during our hiatus. I've got more directors' chats coming, And of course, if you want to reach out, you're welcome to contact us as well. But as I say in this podcast every week, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. I'll see you next week.